Come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go. Jump, 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 everybody, jump. That's it, that's it. Bring some energy into the room. What the hell? And yell. Oh! Let me hear you vocalizing, singing. You're singers. Okay, enough. Sit down. See, now we have a different room. Feel the room. Feel the room now. We have a different room. So let's have some questions. Okay, you made a movie. You put it on the internet. What was your process? What was something really difficult? Do you have any questions? Okay, you didn't put it on the internet. All right. So who do you want to see your movie if you made a movie?
My friends.
Your friends.
Like 5 years old.
Oh, 5 years ago.
And I was acting with my two friends, and we didn't do it again.
Okay, so you just wanted to make it and show it to your friends. Well, that's an exception. Usually people, when they make a movie, they want a lot of people to see it.
And when you start your job or career?
When did I start my job or my career? Haha. Good one. Well, I started... Let's see if this will work. Please. Yeah, I find that making noises a technology is a good thing. It is. I don't know how to do this. I'm just going to do it like this. It's going to be weird. It's okay. It's been done before. God, that is weird. When did I start my career? I was lucky because my parents are both in the film industry and theater, you know, in Romania. So I think if you're asking me, the first time I ever was on a professional movie set, I was 5 years old. And I played a page, you know, like a valet in a costume piece. I made movies as an actor until I was about 17, 18. And then I quit. I went to school. And then I made my first film on my own when I was 21, 22. And, no, 22, 23, that's it. Let's say 23. And then I went to film school. And so when I graduated film school, I was 27. I had a Master of Fine Arts. And since then, so over 10 years. But I've always, you know, there are a lot of things that are part of your career if you want to be a director or a producer that you don't get paid for. But you still have to consider them part of your career. Because everything that builds you to go forward, to go to the next step, is part of your career. Not just what you get a paycheck for. Sometimes, you know, you may go for years without getting a paycheck and then you'll have to do another kind of work. Like in my case, I was working as an editor and as a cameraman. But I always kept at the back of my head that I wanted to write and direct. But yeah, in my case, I think I started my career when I was 5. You know, but that does, you know, that's how I count it. Other people probably would count it differently. They would say 27, because that's when you got out of the master's program. There's someone else here. Yes?
How do you feel when you finish the documentary?
Oh, I can't repeat that in polite company. It's a great feeling of relief. Relief? Relief? Relief. It's like having a stone on you, a big stone, and somebody lifting the stone off of you. But so his question was how do I feel when I finish a project? And I said I feel great relief, but also a little sad. It's like you're ending a relationship. It's something you've been with for a while. It's been inside of you, and now it's done. And it's not, you know, it's a mixed feeling. It's a mixed feeling. But then also what happens is it depends what the next project is, because they can overlap and it can replace each other. But it's a great feeling. It's the best feeling, definitely. Yes?
What time do you spend for making a documentary?
Oh, what time do I spend for making a documentary? Ooh, that's a tough one. Anywhere between 2 to 6 years. But the good news is that they overlap. They don't have to happen in sequence. You know, it takes a while. Especially the kind of documentaries that I make, which are ensemble oriented, which means you have a lot of cast, a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage. It takes a very long time to edit. Very long. Wonderful silence, isn't it? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yes?
What is the most important of your work?
What is the most important? You mean if I have a favorite among my children? I can't say that. I can't say that. A good parent never chooses between his children. Yeah. No. I like all of them equally. Kind of. I do have some favorites, but...
What about your fiction films?
Well, I've only made one fiction film, and I just finished shooting. I'm going to have to do a little more additional shooting. I'm very excited to see where it goes. It might be a big success, or it might be a small success, or I hope it's not a failure, but you always take your fate in your hands when you make a movie. So we'll see. I definitely have I'm in the middle of it, so when I'm in the middle of a project, that's the most important project for me. Afterwards, they all kind of fall on the same level, more or less, but when you're in the middle of it, that's the one at that time. Yes?
What difficulties did you have when you film the documentary?
I had every kind of difficulty possible, but mostly money. People don't like to fund documentaries, even if when they see them afterwards, they go, "Oh, it was such a great work, and it went on Showtime, or it was on PBS, or it was in movie theaters. How great!" But beforehand, it's tough. Editing. The kinds of documentaries I've been making, editing has been very difficult because I have way too much to choose from. In America, we say I like to cast a wide net. I throw a wide net. I catch everything and then I figure it out afterwards. So every kind of imaginable difficulty, including losing your faith at one point over your project and regaining it somehow, and you know, almost abandoning one project at one point. And then I had a focus group screening. A friend of mine, very rich friend of mine, said, "Whoa, come by my house." She and her husband have like this amazing movie theater. I think only Lucas and Spielberg have, seriously, home movie theater that's like incredible. And she said, "I'll invite all of our friends and we'll do a focus group screening for your cut." I had a 37-minute cut of a piece that I'd already moved on to other projects. I wasn't going to finish it. In my mind, I had set it aside. And we had this focus group screening, and what I got back was so amazing that I said, there's no way I can abandon this project. It would be foolish. Look at what the people are saying. They like it. They want to see more. So then I went back, and almost 6 years later, 5.5 years later, I went back and I shot some more, and then I got it made. Yes? A little bit louder, please. How was my experience? Again, like the answer to his question, all kinds. I had amazing moments. Usually when I'm talking or I'm filming some young person doing something that lights a light bulb in their own head, and they go, holy moly, really? Wow, I can do this. That's great. That's great. Getting that on camera, great, second to none. But I've had really bad experiences too, you know. Showing a cut to a focus group and getting back the response that it's not good. Or it's not as good as your last film. Or whatever, you know. I've had all sorts of bad experiences too. Or losing your editor because you can't pay them and they get hired by a big Hollywood movie, and then spending 3, 4, 5, 6 months in limbo looking for someone else to replace him. All sorts of experiences, from the lowest to the highest. But overall, obviously I like it, otherwise I wouldn't keep on doing it. Yes?
Did you win any award?
Yes, I won a lot of awards. That's for history. Yeah, I did win a lot of awards. I didn't win a huge award yet, or ever. I don't know. You know Nick Nolte? You know the American actor Nick Nolte? 48 Hours. Anyway, older movies. He's a great actor. But he once told me, and I think he's right, never make anything, never make a movie to earn an award. Never make anything to earn an award. Because it's not going to satisfy your soul, it's going to satisfy your ego. If you declare the object of your quest to be, I want to earn that award, even if you get it, you're not going to be happy. Because it's not going to satisfy your deeper self. It's going to only satisfy your ego. But I won some pretty big awards. I won some festivals. I won a very important humanitarian award called the Christopher Award in New York, which is something I'm very, very proud of. And then my movies have won a bunch of awards. But I don't have the, you know, yet or ever. We'll see. Yes? Isn't this fun?
How do you promote a documentary?
What do I... How do you promote? Oh, now we're getting into business. Promoting a documentary is more difficult than promoting a big Hollywood film, because in a sense it costs almost as much money, right? You're doing the same thing. You have to get TV ads if you do, and posters and radio and press and all the other stuff. But you're now competing with the big blockbuster movies. So it's very difficult to promote documentaries. We are now living in an era of do-it-yourself distribution. In other words, depending on what your movie is about, then you will go and market it specifically to those groups. When I made a movie about kids doing theater, yes, we did get some press. You always get press associated with festivals. So if your movie gets into a major festival, we got into Robert De Niro's festival in Tribeca, then you get press associated to that. Then if your movie gets picked up by a network, we got picked up by Showtime, you get some press associated with that. But to promote it specifically, you can't do what the big studios do and spend $5, $6, $7 million, just throw it out there and have everybody go, oh, and then have the audience self-select. You don't have that money. You have to select the audience beforehand. So if I made a movie about kids doing theater, first off, we send an email. We try to get in touch with all the drama clubs in America, with all the high schools in America, and we tell them, hey, we made this movie, because that's where our core audience is. Then we go to unions of teachers and educators, and we tell them, hey, we made this movie. Because most likely that's where a lot of the people who would give $5 or $10 to see this movie are going to be. So you have to be aware of where your audience is, you know. And if you're lucky enough to have made a movie that's a documentary that's good enough or appetizing enough for a wide audience, then what happens is you get bought out by a major distributor, and they take care of the promotion. And then, you know, you may have made a movie for $100,000. They buy it, they give you $250, right? That's a good idea. That's a good scenario. So you make the movie for $100,000. They buy it from you for $300,000. You think you're in heaven, right? You pay everybody, and you have some money left over. Then they go and they put $7 million in marketing costs. And then they go and they make $100 million off the movie. That's kind of how it works. But you're not in that loop anymore. Maybe you see a small percentage. Or maybe not. Probably not. But you'd still consider winning. I mean, the money in the industry is done at the top, not at the bottom. Producers are at the bottom. Unless you become a huge producer like Jerry Bruckheimer, you know, these like big names who then control some of the money flow and have a hand in the distribution end of things as well. But the answer to your question is you can't really promote your own movie other than on a kind of a small scale or medium scale, and it takes a huge amount of work to promote and do the marketing of a film. It's either a huge amount of work or a huge amount of money. And basically with independent films, this is probably the most relevant question of the day in a business sense. Because basically you need to have, let's say you have X amount of money to make a movie and to promote it. 25% of that X should go to making the movie and at least 75% to promoting it. Promotion is what puts the movie out there. Without it, chances are, unless you win some major festival, never going to be seen. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What was your favorite activity when you were making your documentary?
When I wasn't, or when I was making? When I wasn't making my documentaries, nothing was favorite. Going to bars. You know, the question, I guess, is the question, what was my favorite activity when I was not making documentaries? Reading books, making music. I'm an amateur musician. I used to sing in bars, play piano and guitar. But writing, is that what you asked, or is that what you asked?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. But no, nothing. I mean, everything was okay. Things were good. But if you want to be a director, nothing is good enough compared to directing, to being out there and doing it. That's the key thing. It's like if you're a soccer player, you can enjoy a lot of things, the press conferences, the training camp, and everything. But it comes down to being on the field playing. That's the best thing. Nothing really compares to that. What was my inspiration? You. People. I mean, a combination of ideas and people. I look at ideas, I say, oh, this is interesting, I think people would want to watch this. And then I explore that idea and I see if I meet 2 or 3 or 4 people I like and I think are interesting to represent that idea. Because I don't like to make dry stuff where I just show you images and feed you facts. That's for somebody else. Basically, if I feel that I would want to watch something, that's the first step. And if I feel that I would really want to watch it, like really, really want to watch it, then that's great. Then I'll get in motion. Yeah.
When was the first time you filmed a documentary?
When was the first time I filmed a documentary? In 1999. In 1999, I filmed. I didn't direct. I filmed a documentary. It was called Running on the Sun. And it was a very tough experience. We shot in Death Valley, in the desert, in the middle of July. It was all downhill from there. There was another question. Yeah. One more question has been launched, and it was, what is the most important part? That it ends well. that it finishes with success. I was answering earlier, every step is difficult. So it's like, quiet. If you send a man on the moon, right? Every step is crucial. You got to make sure your calculations are right. You got to make sure you build the thing specifically the way it's calculated. You got to make sure your guys are trained to be in space, and you have all the supplies, and you have everything. And every step is crucial. Everything, every little screw that's not exactly made the way it's designed can blow up the whole thing. And it's happened several times, so we know it's true. So it's kind of like that with the movie, but maybe the stakes aren't that high, obviously. So every step is important. You can never lose your attention. But the most important thing is that it all ends well. Right? Like in life. Yes?
What would you like to make a documentary about English accent?
About?
English accent.
English? How interesting. I have no idea. She just asked me if I'd like to make a documentary about the English accent. What? Interesting. Copyrighted. And be in touch with me. Very funny. It could be very funny. Anything? Anything more? Are we wrapping it up? What's happening?
I think so.
No, come on. There's one or two more questions. This was easy. Okay, one more time. Everybody up on their feet. Come on! You need it. You gotta follow. I swear I could hear some snoring. Exactly. Stretch. See? In the old days, Socrates never did anything. Aristotle and Plato used to teach their pupils walking around. There's a reason for that. Jump. Let's jump. Jump! 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 I said. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Look at this guy. He's like, I'm not jumping. I'm too cool for this shit. All right. Thank you. You can sit down now. Sit down. Yeah. Thank you. So what time is it? Okay. Let's take one more question.
One more?
Let's take one more.
Anyone else has?
Right. Let me give you this too. Oh.
If you believe that El Salvador is a good place for make a documentary.
If I believe El Salvador is a good place, absolutely. There is no such thing as making as a place that's not good for documentaries. As long as there are people around, people, volcanoes, and English accents. Hey, you have a documentary. Of course there is. It's a great place. Why not?
What would you need to make a documentary on English accent?
What would you need to make a documentary on English? I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. But according to my own teaching that I've been preaching here, I'd have to find some people. I mean, the question is, what are the stakes? You know, did the people's lives were changed? Were they changed? Were they not? Were they improved? Were they destroyed? Was there some funny confusion that happened?
Like developing a story on
Yeah. You develop a story, and then maybe you find out as you're developing the story that it's a better fiction idea than documentary. Mm-hmm. You know, who knows where you go with it. But you'd have to go online and go funny stories about English accents, or stories about English accents, or English accents, and then start researching. And maybe you get in touch with some phonetics professors or English professors from different universities, from different places in the world, and start collecting stories. And what is it? What are you going for? And it'll tell you as you start collecting the stuff. The story will emerge to you, and the story may not be good enough. You'll be like, okay, I don't have anything here. And you can say, well, what I can come up with in my head is much funnier and much better than what I'm finding. And then you're developing a fiction story. Or you might find stuff that's way more interesting than you ever thought. Right? For instance, one thing I can tell you about, because I was interested in, is the foreign language syndrome, that people, especially if they've been to the dentist and if they've had certain surgeries while they were under an anesthesia from the dentist, it's been known that people wake up with a foreign accent and they have it for the rest of their lives. It's very rare. It's very rare, but it exists. So you go to the dentist and you speak like you speak, and then you come out and you speak like this. All of a sudden, nobody understands anything, and you have to now for the rest of your life you're speaking like this. And you're like, "Where are you from? East India?" And you're like, "No, it's just me." But because of the anesthesia and the nerves and stuff, something gets triggered, and you speak with an accent from this point, a different accent than what you had before. So that could be a sub-chapter in your documentary. And then the question is, what is the message? Is it the message that the accent doesn't count, or that it does count? And if it does count, how? You know, is it a universalist message? Is it a cultural? Is it a message of cultural relativity, in the sense that it doesn't matter what accent you speak it with, or is it a message of cultural absolute, in the sense that it does matter what accent you speak it with? And this you won't be able to find out until you do a lot of research and spend a number of months finding out stories, going on YouTube, say funny accents in English, and see what you see, and spend a lot of time filtering through it. But it's a good starting point. Or it might be better as a Steve Martin comedy. Have you seen the Pink Panther? Yeah. I want to buy a hamburger. All right. Well, hold this for a second so I can do some closing remarks. You'll be shooting me, so I'll be like, okay, you do like this. Perfect. Okay. That's like that. Thank you. Yes, sir. Anyway, it's been a pleasure talking at you, with you, to you this afternoon. And I don't know how many of you are going to be filmmakers. That's not the point of this class. The point is, you don't even need one of those little cameras. All you need is a smartphone. There's nothing more powerful than the combination between a smartphone and a smart person. And you can really do a lot of good or a lot of damage with something like this. You can expose corruption. You can create funny theater. You can win competitions. You can do so much through visual expression, through video. And you already consume it. You're actually a lot better than you know, because I'm willing to bet every person in this room spends at least 1 to 2 hours a day looking at moving images, either on a TV, movie theater, or on the internet, right? Yes. So you're actually very well trained. You don't know it, but you have seen a lot of material, and your brain has already made some choices. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. So from that to being able to do it is actually a lot shorter of a step than you imagine. So I encourage you to try it. I encourage you to stay in touch with me through Marta and through the embassy. And if you have any questions, I will follow up. I'm also on Facebook. But most importantly, please be responsible with the media you put out there. And those of you who were at the screening of Shakespeare High know what I'm talking about, because I mentioned it, and you are responsible to tell the other half what I was talking about. And no, you did not invent sexting. It exists. The other person thinks they did it themselves for the first time. And by the complete silence, I understand that you know what I'm talking about. You had a question? There was one question, or you were calling for your hair? No, it was the hair thing. I didn't know. I wasn't sure. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.